What's up, guys? I know that I haven't done a team building video in forever, but I'm gonna have a kind of like mini team building intro to this battle right now. Um, I've decided that I don't want Magneton on this team anymore. It's not doing much for me, so I'm going to get rid of it. Also, this team is extremely defensive with Magneton there. 4 out of 6 Pokemon are defensive pokes, and it's supposed to be more of a balanced team, and I don't have quite enough offensive capability between Aerodactyl and Flygon to take things down as frequently or as fastly as I would prefer to. Also, all of my spec attacker, Porygon 2 is my strongest spec attacker, which, don't get me wrong, Porygon is amazing, especially with if you download a spec attack bump, but I mean 105 is not that great. It's solid, and its defenses are strong enough that it can rock it. Um, but without anything to boost it, if you download an attack boost instead of a spec attack boost, then it's not very remarkable. So I'm going to look for a spec attacker here. I'm not even going to go on Smoke. I'm just going to go off of my own head and what we have right here in the Pokemon Showdown team builder, which I haven't really used yet. And other things that I may have used before. Scarf as Elf, for example, just something that I'm just thinking of now, possibly. Um, Obviously, Chandelure, when you're looking for spec attackers and you use Chandelure, is the strongest the strongest non-Uber spec attack stat, period. Um, but it's slow, so on this team I would probably want it to be Scarfed, because I don't want to set up Sweeper so much as a hit and run. I can switch into the appropriate attacker, Scarf user, either Aerodactyl or Chandelure, and then get back out into one of my defensive pokes. And then when I have enough holes in their team, I can try to set up a Flygon. Um, it's something that's looking nice. What else do we have here? Houndoom I've never really used. Um, Also somewhat slow, 95, and not terrible, but not great. You could run a mixed Haunch Crow. Nah. Rotom Heat, another one that you always have to consider. There's a reason that the Rotom forms are so strongly revered. It's because they're good. Shaman, another one with that stab seed flare, very powerful. And it's got a bit more speed. Speaking of speed, Yanmega. I do have a bit of weakness to rocks already, and no spinner, but with Crobat and Aerodactyl. But I mean, Chandelure wouldn't be augmenting that much either. Yanmega's just more uh, more weak to rocks. I do I do use Yanmega though. Yanmega would fall into that tried and true category. Um, I could go with an offensive Zapdos. Maybe. Maybe an offensive Zapdos. Again, with the whole rocks thing though, not really helping very much. I'm pretty sure Zoroark has a terrible, terrible, terrible. But not if I get out of here. Um, Special move pool. Obviously, these. This is a weird team builder. But alright, let's see. Viable moves: Dark Pulse, Flamethrower, Focus Blast. I don't like relying on Focus Blast very much. Nasty Plot. And enough speed that you can run that pretty well. And yeah, full speed is pretty much. Would I run Timid or what? What is it even that ups special attack. Lowers attack. I forget, it's been way too long. I never knew my natures all that well to begin with. Modest, that's what it is, duh. Alright. Zoroark does add in that fun of using illusion, which is always a blasty blast. But you know what? I think I'm gonna go with not Zoroark. Maybe I'll keep Zoroark as an option. So right now we have Zoroark, Yanmega, um, Chandelure, Shaman, and Rotom are the ones that I'm considering the most right now. And Zapdos. I think I might want to run a custom offensive Zapdos. Let me see. I know we have the Heat Wave, which is something that most, a lot of electric type Pokemon can't boast. Heat Wave, Thunderbolt can roost up, or I can go with this modest nature, as I just reminded myself, and run a Scarf? Or, yeah, I think I might do that. I might run modest nature with a Scarf, and then, what? Extrasensory, I was just kind of looking. Let's see, we have extrasensory. What other special? All the hidden powers. Signal Beam, Thunder, I don't really want to mess around with. Volt Switch is a very good one on a Scarf or on a choice Pokemon, so we'll throw Volt Switch on there, and I'll decide on what for coverage. Extrasensory gives me the fighting type coverage, obviously, which is something that's, Crobat's got the whole Brave Bird thing going for it, but that's about it. I'm not particularly weak to fighting, though. Crobat counters him very well 4-time. Quad resists fighting, stabs, and has a super effective Brave Bird. Aerodactyls, neutral. Porygon's weak to it. Melodic has trouble with some close combat users. Heracross, offensive, hit on top. So I do have a little bit of a weakness to fighting, but I don't know. Let's keep looking to see what my other options are. Air Cutter now. Fly, hee hee. All the other hidden power types. Hyper Beam. Hyper Beam on everything. It's the best move, okay? Swift Thunder Shock, Twister, nothing really good. Shoop boop doo boop. I guess Extrasensory is my best bet. The 80 base power is not too bad. I have Heat Wave, T-Bolt, Volt Switch, and I will give it a choice Scarf. Choice Scarf. Bam. So, offensive hit and run Zapdos. Alrighty then, let's get rid of these attack IVs in case of things like confusion. Speaking of, does PZ have 0 attack IVs? Or PZ, P2, 0. The rest can be 31, especially special attack and speed. 33! 31. 31. But yeah, I forget to get rid of all my attack IVs sometimes. But it's a good idea so that if you get confused, it's that little bit less that you're hitting yourself with. You know, with special attackers, obviously physical attackers, you want to keep their attack IVs. Alright, Flygon, I was gonna mess with his EVs a bit to make him a tad more defensive, because he is not very, very defensive. You know, it's supposed to be more of a slower, steady-uppy type Flygon. So I can keep the adamant nature. I think I can drop some speed EVs and add to what is this? Bulk fizz plus spec is 70. I don't even know what that means. What's going on over there? Alright, I'll go... Yeah, alright, I think I'm gonna drop some speed EVs. Not all of them, but some of them. To throw some into hit points. Excuse me. Let's see. If I... Alright, how it gives me 364. So let's go with about... Is that a number that I'm looking for? 156, is that right? I don't think that that's divisible by 4, and I also don't feel like doing math. Anyway, hit points. I want about half. All right, what's half of 252, Dylan? Duh. One half of 52 is 26. 126, and then 130 speed, so that I can still outspeed most things, and I have a little bit more bulk. And, you know, I do have the roost to roost off. So we'll see how that... Yeah, alright, we'll see how that EV spread works out for me. If it's not so great, then I'll stop using it. But, you know, it's always worth giving a shot. Make sure all of my Pokemon that have genders are female, because the default is male, and people that feel like using Attract or anything like that have to, you know, pretty much always use that other thing, use females, because most people don't bother to switch it. And other than that, I think that we're pretty set here, which means that I'm just going to, yeah, alright, go back to entire team, save it with Zapdos there, and now I'll go back over here and find a battle. Bam, there we go. Alright, so yeah, thank you for sticking through that. Now we have this first battle with the edits. We'll see how it turns out. It looks like he's probably going to lead with Frostlass. That's his most leady Pokemon. In which case, I think I'm just going to go super, like, aggressive, lead with Aerodactyl, go for a Stone Edge right off the bat. And he does lead with Frostlass. So, yeah, I'm going to do that. It'll probably be a sashed one, because that's what they usually are. I'll go for the Stone Edge, and he does have the Sash, and he goes for Taunt. So now I'm going to, I don't want him to Destiny Bond out my Aerodactyl right away. So I'm going to send out Crobat, and then Taunt Frostlass. But he sees something going on, switches out for his Flygon. Interesting. I don't really know what Flygon's going to do. And I don't want to assume that it's a Scarf Gun, because if it's not, whatever. Alright, so I'm just going to go for a Super Fang here. I should outspeed it, but it is a Scarf Gun. Unless it's a Scarf Gun. So it is, so that's pretty much probably the standard Scarf Flygon set, I can assume. He sends in Victini. And I'm going to switch out for my own Flygon, assuming that he's going to go for the Fusion Bolt, I think it's called. Dylan, not remembering things. But he goes for the V-Create instead. I resist that, obviously. Um, I couldn't see him not switching out right now, so I'm just going to take this opportunity to Rooster Home Claws, roost up. Now that I drop my speed EVs, I have to be careful. So I'm going to take this opportunity to roost up. He goes into Azumarill, which means that I'm going to go into Melodic to wall him. As he goes for a waterfall, doing about a third, about a quarter after lefties. Hopefully I can pull a burn on the Scald if he stays, but he does not. He switches out for Yen Mega, who gets burned. Not that it matters, it's a spec attacker. But, it's fast, but it doesn't really concern me too much. I don't think that it can take me out from this range unless it gets a crit. And he does go for the Giga Drain, but I should be able to take him down with this Scald, and I do. And yeah, it didn't do much. Even a crit would not have taken me out, actually. So, and he goes ahead and disconnects, leaves, claim victory. I don't know how that game works. I still don't understand this. Alright, I'll just go back to the lobby over here. Maybe. Yeah, alright, and let's find another battle. Apparently he didn't like that very much. So yeah, alright, we'll find another battle. And here we go. Alright, Claydol, Cresselia, 2 Reggies, Golduck, and Rotom. Golduck, interesting. So this will probably be a Cursing Regirock because it's the only set that I can think of that is the most viable in UU. He'll probably lead with this Registeel, in which case I'm going to lead with Crobat so that I can taunt him. But he ends up leading with Bad Mr. Toasty. Interesting name for his Rotom. And now I don't want to switch out into Flygon in case he has the HP Ice, and he predicts that. In fact, I don't really want to do much of anything. I'm scared, to say the least. This thing is quite threatening to my team. So I think that I will stay in and just root. No, I'm going to outspeed him. So I'll just stay in Super Fang, hope that I can take a shot. He goes for a Willow, which shows me that he's not, choiced or anything. So, interesting. I'll go for a taunt now, so that he can't Willow anything else. And he has a Confuse Ray that he tried to use, so yeah, that means that he probably doesn't have the Ice Beam for coverage, which means that I can go into Flygon and see if I can set up Home Claws early. Obviously I can't EQ because half of his team levitates, but you know what? No, I'll go into Aerodactyl and see if I can go for a Stone Edge early. He goes for the Discharge here, almost taking out Aerodactyl. As long as this Stone Edge hits, though, or he switches, then Aerodactyl will be fine. We'll see what he does. Shoot, boop, doo, boop. He does switch out for his Regirock, which is the most obvious move. I'll go into Melodic here, so that I can Dragon Tail him if he curses, but he actually goes for the Stealth Rocks, which, as I said earlier, bad for my team. Not much that I can do about it now, though. I'll go for the Scald, though he is probably going to switch, and he does go into Iron Man, his Registeel. I'm going to stay in to scout, continue to Scald, maybe pull a burn, and I do pull a burn. He goes for the Toxic, doesn't bother me much, but, that burn gets rid of his lefty's recovery. I'm going to go for one more Scald, still trying to figure out what this has. Interesting, Amnesia. So I'm going to go ahead and Dragon Tail this out of here. Or they're gonna disconnect. Alright. Alrighty then. Back to the lobby and do it one more time. Hopefully we can get a full battle for you. Shoot boop doo whoop. Bronzong, probable lead for stealth rocks and whatnot. Roserade also possible. So yeah, let's go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that it's gonna be Bronzong and start off with Zapdos, I guess. With that Heat Wave, and then I can hit it with a Heat Wave or two and get out of there, and Zapdos will be in before the rocks. Since I don't have the Roost, that's a good thing. I guess that I should have led with Crobat to taunt it instead, but he switches right out for Chandelure, predicting that and getting the Flash Fire boost. And, sorry, I got a phone call, but screw that, this is way more important. Getting the Flash Fire boost, which is a bit scary, and I'm locked in here, so I'm going to switch out for Melodic, who can take the fire attacks and possibly scare him back out. And yeah, even with the Flash Fire boost, only does 30%, and it probably will scare him out. I'm just going to go for a Scald anyway. It does into Roserade, who, predictable that he switches into Roserade. And I have to assume that the Leaf Storm is coming, so I'm going to rest off the damage. Nope, but he goes for the Spikes instead, probably predicting me to switch out instead of just heal off the damage. I'm going to Sleep Talk here. We'll see what he does, because now he's in a position by going for the Spikes instead of using an attack. He's in a position where he can do pretty much whatever he wants with this Melodic, but he's just going to continue setting up the Spikes instead of taking this opportunity to take me down. So there's probably not much special attack investment in this Roserade, so I don't have to be too scared of it. I pull the Dragon Tail there, bringing out Bronzong, and I have to stay stay in to wake up this turn so that I can re-rest later. So I'll just go for a Scald. It does about a quarter. He gets his rocks up, so he has all of the hazards that he could possibly enjoy, and I don't care. I'll go back out into Zapdos. I'm not going to be dumb about it and go for a Heat Wave this time. He goes into Roserade, so there's no way that he's staying in. I couldn't see that happening. He's going back out into Shandy, so I am going to Volt Switch on out, and he does go back into Chandelure, and I get the Volt Switch, which does a lot of damage, because Chandelure's pretty fragile. And now I have to decide whom I would like to go into. I think that I'll go into Aerodactyl and take him out with a Crunch. Shouldn't be a problem at all, but then I'm stuck with Aerodactyl in there against probably his Zapdos. That's fine. I'll go into Aerodactyl. So yeah, I'll go for a Stone Edge instead. Hope that it hits, but that would give me a much better matchup if he does go into his Zapdos. But he goes into his Bronzong, which pretty much laughs at anything that my Aerodactyl can do to him right now. Crunch probably would have done a bit more damage, being that it would have been normal, regularly effective instead of super effective. But then again, I wouldn't have got the stab. I don't know. I don't feel like calculating it. So, jeezy. Looks like we're in a little loop here. If I go back into Zapdos, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back into Zapdos, because if he does go back into Chandelure, another Volt Switch would take it out. So I'm going to go ahead, go back into Zapdos. He's racking up this entry hazard damage, but, you gotta do what you gotta do. He goes for the Gyro Ball. It's resisted, so even though I'm very fast, it doesn't quite take me out. I'm going to... is he gonna predict the Volt Switch and stay in though? I'm gonna go for the Heat Wave. Hope that he doesn't go back into Chandelure, but he does. So I shouldn't have tried to overpredict there. I should have just gone for the Volt Switch. Too late now. I'm gonna go back into Melodic. He's gonna go back into Roserade. Nope, he's gonna set up a sub. Interesting enough. Not really. I guess that it's kind of predictable, but I don't think that he can take me out, so I'm going to rest up and stay in. Yep, he cannot take me out with that energy ball. I will rest up, stay in, get the rest, and after lefties, I don't think he'll be able to KO me before I re-rest. So I'll go for the sleep talk here. It's like crappy frame rate. Sorry about that. I don't really know why. It's not like I have tabs open or anything. A couple. I'll close them. Was on smoking. Close those tabs out quick. Maybe that'll help this frame rate. Hopefully. I don't know. Sleep talk, pull the rest. Nothing doing. Sleep talk again. He keeps getting those energy balls. Get the dragon tail. It doesn't do anything because he has that sub up. Now I have to re-rest and, wait for the scald to come through. The sleep talk. And, alright, so he goes for the shadow ball, probably thinking that I might switch out, but I'm not. I'm just gonna re-rest, stay in, let him do his thing. Continue to sleep talk. He's just waiting for the crit. I'm just waiting for the scald instead of the dragon tail that I keep pulling. All 2 times in a row there. Come on. That's for another shadow ball instead. Hoping for the sped F drop, I guess. Finally get through that that sub. And I'm going to wake up, so I'm just going to go for a scald here. Probably break right through his sub again if he re-subs. But he doesn't. He goes for the energy ball and is going to go down to a scald. Bam. Alright, but now I'm in revenge kill range for almost anything that he has, so I'm going to have to be very careful. I see Roserade in my future right now. Maybe Heracross. Goes with Zapdos instead, so I'm going to switch out into my Flygon and hope that he doesn't have the HP Ice. He doesn't. He goes for the T-Bolt. Well, if he does, then he didn't predict that. He goes for the T-Bolt. I'm a little bit scared that he might have the HP Ice, but I'm gonna risk it, and I'm gonna stay in and go for a Hone Claws. He does have the HP Ice, getting rid of my Flygon, but this is being quite a slow battle, being that we're 20 turns in and each have 1 Pokemon gone. So took the risk, didn't turn out for me that time. What can you do? I will go into whom for this PZ, I guess. Go for the Ice Beams. Get an attack boost, tragically enough. So I see him switching out for Heracross right now, so I'm actually going to go for a Discharge. He does switch out into Bronzong, though, instead of Heracross. Probably waiting to save that Heracross for late game sweeping. I'm going to recover off here because I should outspeed. And I do. He goes for the Toxic and misses, luckily enough. Shows me that he has the Toxic, which means I'm going out into Crobat. Because that means that he probably can't do too much to me. He can hit me with a Gyro Ball, but we'll see we'll see how much damage that does. I'm gonna Super Fang first. I don't see it KOing me. He goes out into his Zapdos though, so Super Fang his Zapdos instead. And now I don't have my Flygon anymore, tragically enough. What to do, because he's probably going for another T-Bolt. I guess back into P2, I guess? Or I can stay Brave Bird, hope to survive between the recoil and his. Well, I'm going to stay and go for another Super Fang, which will knock him down to an area where I'm pretty sure that I will be able to KO with a Brave Bird, but he takes me out with that T-Bolt. He is a Life Orb. Zapdos didn't really realize that. Probably should have last time. up here. I don't know if that life orb mattered that much, but I thought that I would be able to survive one T-bolt. Guess not. Into Aerodactyl I go. And now I see him going back into Bronzong, so I'm gonna just go for the crunch. See how much that does to Bronzong. Not enough to matter at all. Back into PZ. Once I can get through this Bronzong, then I should be alright, but right now I'm at quite a big disadvantage in terms of this battle. He's got all the residual from, every time I shift, he's got the damage racking up, and, I've got two big two of my Pokemon that I rely on a lot are out of here, and I don't have a good way through this Bronzong. I'm just going to start nailing Ice Beams, hope to get one. He switches out for Roserade, who's not going to appreciate that Ice Beam one bit. He does have the Toxic on me, though, which is a big problem. He hits me with a Sludge Bomb, doesn't do too much, and he's going to go down to this next Ice Beam as I'm running out of turns with Porygon. But, I have that Spec Attack boost. He's going to take me out with a close combat right here, and that's pretty, I can't really do much about it because it's either Porygon or somebody else, and, I'm pretty much boned. And this is that whole late game Heracross sweep thing that I was just talking about. I'll go for the Ice Beam in case he does something else. He does just take me down with the close combat. It's a Moxie Heracross, so that's quite scary. Let's see. Blastoise. I don't want to lose Melodic if I don't have to. So I think that I'll... And I don't know if I can OHKO with that Aerodactyl yet. I don't know if the Stone Edge will take it out or not. And I will go with the Stone Edge because it, gets the stab. So it's more... they're all neutral, but it gets stabbed, so it's the most powerful option that I have. But, he's -1 defense. I know that at -2 I'll be able to take it out. But I also don't know if he's going to stay. Especially if I go into Aerodactyl. Screw it, I'm going for it. The game's pretty much lost at this point. Ever since I stayed in with Flygon there, it's been hit and miss. And speaking of hit and miss, I missed that Stone Edge, thereby ensuring that I will lose this. I'm going to Zapdos now, GG. And now into Melodic. Oh, who survives and dies. So, yeah, there we go. Tragedy. Alright. Well, that was, that battle. Obviously, the risk that I took with that Zapdos was table turning, I guess. Tide deciding gave him the momentum that he needed, and had he not had the HP Ice, this battle may have ended much differently. Had I not risked it, it also could have ended much differently. But what can you do? 'Tis the life. 'Tis the life of Pokemon. So yeah, that was that, and I edited, the whole editing of the team, so hopefully that'll work out for me. I'll continue playtesting and whatnot, and next team that I make, I will make a full-blown, team building video, and I'll probably be doing it in the Pokemon Online Team Builder, because I prefer that to the Pokemon Showdown one. So, don't be surprised if you see that. Don't be all confused, like, what? Alright, anyway, thank you for watching. Keep coming back. I will keep putting up more. Have a nice day. Au revoir.